A lot of people call me an Islamophobe. My answer is, you goddamn right I'm an Islamophobe. I'm from Iran. 9 million of us escaped that brutal regime because of what that religion did to our country. Now, I'm not saying everybody's like that. There's exceptions. There's also non-racist Republicans, just like there's sensible Democrats. I'm talking in general, this religion is not compatible with Western values. And the irony is, they know it themselves. They escaped the shithole they were from, hoping they could make a better version of it in the new land they came to. But they can't, because those ideologies are just not compatible with what we stand for and what we cherish. Open your eyes around your new reality. A lot of people call me an Islamophobe.
Well, he owned how he felt. But I want y'all to listen to that again, though, because this is not a politician or a think tank. There's somebody who lived it and got out. Meanwhile, over here, you've got people in suits on TV, on live TV, in classrooms, telling you everything's compatible. Everything blends. Everything just works itself out. He's saying, no, it doesn't. And the wild part, the people who scream the loudest about tolerance never have to live with the consequences of policies or the policies that they push. They sit comfortable, while others got to deal with reality. Now, I want you to watch how this connects real quick. Listen to what he says, and then I'm going to read what Trump wrote.
In English, I would simply say, once again, what I said in the Urbi et Orbi message on Sunday, asking all people of goodwill to search always for peace and not violence, to reject war, especially a war which many people have said is an unjust war, which is continuing to escalate and which is not resolving anything. In fact, we have a worldwide economic crisis, energy crisis, situation in the Middle East of great instability, which is only provoking more hatred throughout the world. So come back to the table, let's talk, let's look for solutions in a peaceful way, and let's remember especially the innocent, children, the elderly, the sick, so many people who have already become or will become victims of this continued warfare. To remind all that attacks on civilian infrastructure is against international law, but that it is also a sign of the hatred, the division, the destruction that the human being is capable of. And we all want to work for peace. People want peace. I would invite the citizens of all the countries involved to contact the authorities, political leaders, congressmen, to ask them, tell them to work for peace and to reject war always. Thank you very much.
Cool. Okay, so me having to read this, it's so tiny. I'm going to have to make it this big. Y'all not going to be able to see it. But I got y'all. It says, Pope Leo is weak on crime and terrible for foreign policy. He talks about fear of the Trump administration, but doesn't mention the fear that the Catholic Church and all of their Christian organizers had during COVID when they were arresting priests, ministers, and everybody else for holding church services, even when going outside and being 10 and every 20 and even 20 feet apart. I'm sorry. I like his brother Lewis much better than I like him because Lewis is all MAGA. He gets it. And Leo doesn't. I don't want a pope who thinks it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. I don't want a pope who thinks it's terrible that America attacked Venezuela, a country that was sending massive amounts of drugs into the United States and, even worse, emptying their prisons, including murderers, drug dealers, and killers, into our country. And I don't want a pope who criticizes the president of the United States because I'm doing exactly what I was elected in a landslide to do, setting record low numbers in crime and creating the greatest stock market in history. Leo should be thankful because, as everyone knows, he was a shocking surprise. He wasn't on any list to be pope and was only put there by the church because he was an American, I'm sorry, and they thought that would be the best way to deal with President Donald J. Trump. If I wasn't in the White House, Leo wouldn't be in the Vatican. unfortunately. Leo's weak on crime, weak on nuclear weapons, does not sit well with and does not sit well with me, nor does the fact that he meets the Obama, how you said it, sympathizes like David, I don't know how you say this, Axelrod, and he's a loser from the left, who is one of those who wanted churchgoers and clerks to be arrested. Leo should get his act together as Pope, use common sense, stop catering to the radical left, and focus on being a great Pope, not a politician. It's hurting him very badly. And more importantly, it's hurting the Catholic Church. President Donald J. Trump, he wrote. See, this is where it gets interesting, because now it's not just about ideology. It's about authority. You've got a Pope stepping into geopolitical conversations, and instead of talking about spiritual guidance, he's surrounding himself with the idea of being a political commentator. And Trump basically said, all right, hold on. You don't get to lecture America about safety while ignoring what actually puts people in danger. And that's the part that the media is not going to say out loud. They love when religious figures sound like activists. They hate when leaders push back on it, because one keeps the narrative safe, the other disrupts it. But now it escalates.
I think it's very, very important for the Pope to be careful when he talks about matters of theology. And I think that one of these issues here is that there has been, again, hey, random dude screaming, I told you I'd respond to your point. I just want to respond to this question first. But I think one of the issues here is that if you're going to opine on matters of theology, you've got to be careful. You've got to make sure it's anchored in the truth. And now, to respond to this guy here, he said, I believe he said the administration supports a genocide in Gaza. And here's my response to that. When we came in, the humanitarian situation in Gaza was an absolute catastrophe. You know who's the person who got a peace agreement in Gaza? Donald J. Trump, the president. Excuse me, sir. Right now, you see more humanitarian aid coming into Gaza than it has any time in the past 5 years, because we have taken that situation seriously.
Now you've got the vice president stepping in. Not emotional, not loud, just direct. Be careful when you talk about ideology. Oh, I'm sorry, theology, excuse me. And that's not random. That right there is a signal. Because what's really being challenged here isn't just opinions, it's influence. Who gets to define right and wrong in moments like this? A politician? A religious leader? Or reality itself? And while that debate is happening, something else is already in motion.
Never listen to a panickin, Jesse. You will do very well in life. Ignore the panicins, right? They were the ones who warned of calamity in Venezuela and ended up being one of the greatest single foreign policy, military, geopolitical maneuvers in world history. What you're watching now in Iran with the implementation of this blockade is the total resetting of the American power dynamic for the next 100 years. President Trump is saying, we, the United States, have the world's not just most powerful military, most powerful navy. And whoever controls the seas is able to control the outcomes in any foreign policy showdown. And so President Trump has put Iran in a box. He's played the checkmate move. And so now, no matter what path Iran chooses, America wins. If Iran chooses the path of a deal, then that's great for the world. That's great for everybody. If Iran chooses the path of economic strangulation by blockade, then the world will pass Iran by. New energy routes will be established. New supply chains will be established. Other nations throughout the region, throughout the world, and especially America, will power the world, and Iran will become a footnote. So that's the choice Iran has, and President Trump has put America into a win-win posture.
You know, they accuse the president of having no strategy. He's just kind of flying by the seat of his pants. You look at Venezuela. You look at drill, baby, drill. You look what's happening with Iran and the Strait, and now China, Indonesia, the deals we've cut with the Japanese and the South Koreans. It does look like there's a strategy to counter the Chinese and make America energy dominant. Why don't they accept that? If I can see it, Well, they should be able to see it too.
Because it's a total discrediting, Jesse, of the corrupt politicians and corrupt systems that brought America to its knees. Our wealth, our treasure, our power has been bled from us for 50 years. We won World War II, and then we decided that we were going to get rid of the Department of War, we were going to get the Department of Defense, and we were going to have a politically correct foreign policy. And we sent away our jobs, we sent away our wealth, we sent away our industry, and we gave other countries a chance to compete against us. President Trump has used trade policy, energy policy, manufacturing policy, and yes, hard military power to ensure another century of American dominance. And what's important for your viewers to understand is our quality of life that we have in America is purchased by American strength. The reason why our GDP per capita blows every other nation out of the water is because of American strength. That's why we're able to enjoy the life that we enjoy. But it was threatened as never before until President Trump said, we are going to be a proud, powerful, mighty nation again. And that's what you're seeing right now play out in the Middle East, Jesse.
Checkmate. They're right there. That's not talk. That's positioning. That's what happens when pressure is applied strategically, not emotionally. Deal or no deal. The outcome leans in one direction. And here's what people seem to get it twisted. The same voices that spent years saying, don't escalate, don't push, don't pressure, are now watching what pressure actually does. It forces decisions. It removes options. It exposes who's serious and who's just talking. And now you're about to see what it looks like when it hits real numbers.
U.S. blockade on Iranian ports is now in day 3, and so far it appears to be working and according to plan. Preventing ships from accessing Iranian ports, which leads to 2 things: build up the pressure on the Iranian regime and starve it of much-needed income. So that's where we start. Good morning, everybody. Midweek here. I'm Bill Hemmer, live in New York City. Morning to you.
Yes, and reports are that the economic pressure is being felt by the Iranians. I forgot. I'm Dana Perino, and this is America's Newsroom. I was so ready to get into the news. Let's start here. So U.S. Central Command says that U.S. forces are maintaining their naval superiority in the Middle East. Commander Admiral Brad Cooper posting in part, in less than 36 hours since the blockade was implemented, U.S. forces have completely halted economic trade going in and out. And the numbers spell out the impact, with estimates that the blockade could cost the regime $435 million every day.
So meanwhile, President Trump laying out why Operation Epic Fury started in the first place, sitting down with Maria Bartiromo. U.S. blockade on Iranian ports is now in...
That's the part they don't dramatize enough, because it's not loud, it's not flashy, it's slow, and it's surgical. Money gets cut off. Movement gets restricted. Time starts to work against you, my boy. And suddenly, all those bold statements don't seem to carry the same weight anymore. Because now it's not about what you say. It's about what you can actually sustain. And just when you think that's enough pressure, I want you to watch this.
The third day of the American blockade here on the Persian Gulf behind me. So far, no reports of any major incidents. But on the topic of the 2-week ceasefire that we're in the midst of, a short while ago, a senior U.S. official telling Fox News that the United States has not formally agreed to an extension of the ceasefire. There is continued engagement between the U.S. and Iran to reach a deal. Now, a short while ago, also, the BBC reported that the Iranian military is threatening to block shipping in the Persian Gulf, the Red Sea, and the Gulf of Oman if the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports continues. The U.S. says it's not allowing any ships in or out of Iranian ports in the Strait of Hormuz, but it is allowing other ships to use the strait. CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper writing in full, a blockade of Iranian ports has been fully implemented as U.S. forces maintain maritime superiority in the Middle East. An estimated 90% of Iran's economy is fueled by international trade by sea. In less than 36 hours since the blockade was implemented, U.S. forces have completely halted economic trade going into and out of Iran by sea. Now, Kepler reports that yesterday 3 vessels passed through the Strait of Hormuz, and Fox confirms a 4th ship a Chinese vessel carrying oil and chemicals passed as well. Now, President Trump posted the truth within the past hour. China is very happy that I am permanently opening the Strait of Hormuz. I am doing it for them also and the world. This situation will never happen again. They have agreed not to send weapons to Iran. President Xi will give me a big fat hug when I get there in a few weeks. We are working together smartly and very well. Doesn't that beat fighting? Now, here in the Persian Gulf, Saudi Arabia is pressuring the United States to drop the naval blockade, fearing it could cause the situation with Iran to escalate or further disrupt shipping routes. That's according to a Wall Street Journal report. Now, the UAE, the country that we're in, they have been very vocal about doubling down with their relationship with the United States and said they would even stand by the United States if force is used out on the Persian Gulf. Dana, Bill.
Matt Van.
So now it's not just one country applying pressure. Now it's alignment. And that's when things change fast. Because once other players start stepping in, it's no longer a situation. It becomes a shift. And this is where the disconnect, it really shows. It shines right here. You got people over here debating language, tone, and optics, while over there, decisions are being made that actually move things. Real alliances, real consequences. When you step back and look at all this together, you got the Pope out here speaking politically. You got J.D. Vance, the vice president, out here correcting the tone. You got Donald Trump pushing back directly on it. And at the same time, a country getting boxed in economically and strategically. That's not random timing. It's two worlds colliding. One built on messaging, the other built on outcomes. And right now, outcomes are starting to speak louder. So if you made it to the end of this video, I want you to put outcomes. Yeah. Y'all be safe. Go check out somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.